Welcome, Tom and Jim, and all of you at home in internet land. I am your host. I'm Jeff Greenwald, and next to me is Daniel Dye, who is filling in with for Matthew Rose, who I promise everyone I talked to today. So as much as Dan likes the joke that he's dead and in Dan's fridge, he isn't. Actually talked to him today. He's doing good.
Yeah, he would only fit in the freezer.
He's okay. Good.
He's fine. No, he's running the windmill of life right now. So, but we'll welcome him with open arms when he comes back, obviously. But for now, Dan's here, so I apologize to everybody.
Sorry.
And Tom and Jim Goldrup, welcome you guys. So good to see you.
Hi. Good to see you. Good to see
you. Okay. I thought you were trying to figure out which of you was Tom and which of you was Jim.
I've been doing okay. Who's that guy? I've never seen him before in my life, but he wants to talk to us. So
okay. Tom and Jim Goldrup, film historians, actors in their own right, writers. They've written 4 books about the golden age of Hollywood. They are not improv comedians, and they have traveled the world.
Contraire. I saw that comedy right there.
Crazy.
Welcome, guys, to your show, which is Talking with Tom and Jim. And how you doing? How's it going today?
Today's going pretty good. I can't complain. No one will listen to me if I do, so I'm not going to complain about nothing. I'm not going to complain about this and that and the other. I'll just say I'm doing okay.
It's weird, right? Some people say that, like they'll say, how are you doing? And it's like, someone's going to say, oh, it's terrible. Like I'm on a talk show and it's horrible right now. My life's bad. Like, oh, well, where do we go? Like, why do we ask that? I don't know.
I always used to say I'm fine, but then I got into the habit of just, I'm going to try answering this.
Then they don't want to listen to you.
That's right.
Like, if you're in the elevator and someone's like, how you doing? And like, now I'm going to come up with something good. Like, it's just you and me in this elevator uncomfortably for the next 20 seconds. How can I?
That's right. The first rule of improv. Yes, and
especially if it's an elevator in Kiev that I'm thinking of.
Oh, that little tiny elevator?
Little tiny one. Yeah.
We recreated the producer's elevator scene. Yeah. And it would always and there was this sign on it that said no more than 2 people, and if you have luggage, 1 person, and it was very, you're right. Anyway, welcome guys. We're getting sidetracked. I have a big question for you, and that is knowing all the actors that you've met and been friends with over the years, and all the actors that were an ensemble in this, I thought it would be a good place to start tonight, just to ask you about The Fugitive. By that I mean the television series starring David Janssen, not the 1990s film starring Harrison Ford, which we can surely talk about another time. But yeah, The Fugitive. What do you know about The Fugitive? What story?
Out of the 160 or so actors we interviewed, 39 of them happened to work in The Fugitive at one time or another. One worked in 6 episodes as different characters. Several worked in 5, 3, then a bunch worked in 1. And out of the 39 people, about 25 of them ended up having their own series, being a regular in their own series at one time or another on television. So a bunch of good actors.
One of them was the only actor ever shot in the back by a princess. Paul Wilkie was shot in the back by Grace Kelly in High Noon.
Wow, really?
Has been Gary Cooper, yeah. And then you want to tell the big
really shot or?
No, I'm hoping he doesn't mean really shot.
Big Russell, his son Kurt Russell. They were both in an episode of The Fugitive, and Big Russell's a cop who arrests Kurt Russell, a kid, and slaps him around, and Kurt Russell ad-libbed, saying "police brutality." And they kept it in.
They kept it in the print. Yeah.
That wily Kurt Russell.
Yeah. You guys have both been to Disneyland.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Abraham Lincoln? That's
yeah.
Okay. One of the actors that worked in what do you call it? The Fugitive. Royal Dano. He had a long career, but he played Abraham Lincoln in some story. And then they just kept asking him to play Abraham Lincoln, and he didn't. want to end up being typecast forever as Abraham Lincoln. And one time he walked into his agent's office and someone in there even said, "Hi, Abe. No more Abe Lincolns." And then he got a call from Walt Disney. Walt Disney wanted him to come down and record the voice for the Abraham Lincoln at Disneyland. And Royal said, no. He kept saying no. And they called him several times. No. And they said, well, they want you to come and meet Walt Disney and just talk to him. So he went and he went there and he talked with them. He said they sat down and were eating. And Walt was telling him this whole dream of what he has for Disneyland, what it's going to be, and all this, and how it's going to be for all these kids and stuff. And he said, Royal said he ended up not being able to turn him down. So he did the voice of Abraham Lincoln. Another actor in The Fugitive, H.M. Wynant, he, when the Paris Disneyland opened up, Disney World in Paris, they invited him over to become Buffalo Bill in a big arena doing the Buffalo Bill Wild West show. And he worked there for a year and he enjoyed doing it, but him and the one of the French managers there didn't hit it off too good. He said he was a really egotistical guy, so he quit after his first year. But so, you know, these actors, they all went on to do other things. Paul Pickerney, Jim and I were invited out in his backyard before to play
Bocce,
the ball with the balls. Him and his brother Chuck, that was one of the top stuntmen at the time, and he ended up going into becoming Robert Stack's top man in the Untouchable series. And also he ended up working with David Janssen later on in a series called O'Hara Treasury Department, where he was his partner for about 4 or 5 episodes. Another actor, Russ Conway, who was in 1 or 2 of the episodes of The Fugitive, previously had played Lieutenant Pete Kyler in a TV series with David Janssen called Richard Diamond, as he was a regular on the series for a season. So a lot of those actors, they had long careers and they worked.
One of the actors.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
One of the actors that worked in a couple of episodes, he later did a pilot filmed here in Santa Cruz, where we're all from, and they had Forrest Tucker and some young kids that were regulars, the Flim Flam Man, and this actor Paul Sorenson, he was playing a police officer, and there's one scene where Forrest Tucker and this young kid are coming down in a handcar on the rail tracks, and Paul Sorensen is sitting in his patrol car, blocking the tracks, to trying to make an effort to stop them, and such a thing wasn't going to work, and so he's supposed to, at the last minute, step on the gas and get the car off the tracks and let them go speeding on by. But the night before they filmed, it was very, very rare it snowed. And so the next morning when they were filming, Paul Sorensen was sitting in his car on the tracks. He looks around, he sees Forrest Tucker and the kid coming lickety-split downhill on his handcar towards his car. And he said, but then when time comes, he steps on the gas to go. He said, and the wheel just spun. And he said, he looked and the wheels were spinning. He looked and here they were coming closer and closer. And he was trying to go, and just before they collided, the car went. And he said, telling us the story, it makes the stomach cringe now. Because it was so close, and if they hit the car, they would have splattered.
Why don't you tell them about your experience with the train and the track in Australia?
Made
us think of that.
Living in Australia, I was with some people. We were in the car coming back from Adelaide up to Mildura, real long drive, and we're all tired. It was getting late, and long straight road, and there's a train following the car, going along the side the road as we're driving. And all of a sudden, one of the guys in the car noticed the tracks across the road. And he says, the train. And he slams on the brakes. The car stops right dead on the tracks. I mean, I don't know. The train just kept going. It was dark. We couldn't see. There was a branch of the railroad.
Oh my God.
They all thought they were dead.
Down in Australia, at least at that time, a lot of times they don't have a warning sign, the train crossing or whatever, just the tracks would be there.
They thought they had it, yeah.
What
Wow.
the actor who was on 6 times, who were they? They played
Richard Anderson. He is. Do you remember the $6 Million Man and Bionic Woman? Okay, he's the one that played Oscar Goldman or something in there. He was a regular in both those shows. Yeah, he did 6 of them, but he didn't play the same character in any of them. He was in all different ones.
And that wouldn't happen today. I mean, it's just that's crazy. Like, you wouldn't see.
Back in those days, the TV series, each episode, like The Fugitive, for instance, was a separate story.
Yeah.
And today, a lot of the series, I'm told, we don't get TV, but they're a continuation with the same actors playing the same parts, go on and on and on, almost like a soap opera. And so back, you wouldn't have somebody doing that today. But back in those days, each story being separate, I mean, The Fugitive went on, maybe, 5 seasons or whatever it was, 4 or 5 seasons. So he did 6 episodes intermingled. That was real common. I mean, our friend Morgan Woodward, he did like 20 episodes in Gunsmoke, but he always played a different character. It was better for actors in those days because there was more work in that sense.